What's up, guys? Today we're going to be talking about auto rifles. You know those weapons nobody uses anymore? Back on February 25th of this year, Bungie released a patch focused on weapon balancing. While most of these fixes brought weapons in line and even brought the almost never used pulse rifles up to a very usable state, there was one fix that arguably ruined an entire weapon type. Auto rifles received a nerf to their damage and range, and I'll admit the range nerf was a welcome change. The damage nerf, however, gave the problem pulse rifles had to auto rifles. The problem being that the weapon type just wasn't in line with the others in terms of damage, and using them put players at a very noticeable disadvantage. When the nerf was announced, it led us to believe that auto rifles would be nerfed by a maximum of 2.5% less damage depending on the weapon's rate of fire. Lower rate of fire auto rifles would take the full 2.5% nerf, and higher rate of fire rifles would take less of the damage nerf. That wasn't the case, however. It turned out that auto rifles with, let's say, the impact of the Suros or the Vanquisher received around a 13% damage nerf, which might not seem like a lot, but when you take into account that the damage is knocked off of every bullet, it really adds up, greatly slowing down the time to kill. 2 months later, and auto rifles still suffer from their nerf. It's rare to see an auto rifle being used in endgame PvE, and even rarer to see them being used in PvP, where they were found in abundance because they were easy to use, but not overpowered. The nerf to their damage was completely unnecessary, and basically completely alienated them from players. They just are no longer on the same playing field as the other primaries, and they should be returned to their former glory by undoing the nerf to their damage, but not the nerf to their range. They were used more than any other primary because they were easy to use, and Bungie saw that as a reason to nerf them, but just because a type of weapon is easy to use does not mean they are overpowered. Returning their damage to how it was before will put every primary on the same level and truly allow diversity among player loadouts. Exotic auto rifles, which weren't very good originally, excluding the Suros, don't feel like exotics anymore. Their damage is far too low, and in the Hardlight's case, one of its perks doesn't even work. Its glass half full perk will do one additional damage at the end of the magazine due to the auto rifle nerf, and since the Hardlight was already one of the worst exotics in the game, this is unacceptable. In the past, auto rifles were useful weapons that could be wielded and used to great effect by any player regardless of their skill level. While their bullets made it farther than their intended close to mid-range, their damage was not out of line in the slightest. With new content on the way with House of Wolves, like the Prison of Elders and the Trials of Osiris, and not to mention the multiple auto rifles to be introduced with that expansion, now is the perfect time to adjust auto rifles' damage output so players can go into the expansion and make proper use of them. The time to kill for auto rifles is just too slow to leave them how they are now, and to truly bring balance to the game's primaries, they must be reevaluated, and for future weapon balances, more than just usage stats should be taken into account before any changes are made. The auto rifle nerf is a mistake that must be fixed, and I would be very surprised to see Bungie not take any action before the House of Wolves drops. Now that's pretty much it, guys. What do you think about the auto rifle nerf? Do you think they should be buffed, left alone? And that's pretty much it, guys. I want to thank y'all for watching. I very much appreciate it, and I'm going to see you guys later. Bye.